Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. For those joining us for the first time, I'm responsible for identifying and analyzing digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine token prices and the market events that act as catalysts for price change. Based on our research and market events over the past week, here's some notable token price moves and what we think drove these moves. As a reminder, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. Okay, well, it has been quite the week, guys. Not only did we have the inauguration on Monday, followed by a flurry of potential new regulations and rules, there's now a crypto task force, and we'll see, and there's been a lot of rumblings in the ecosystem about the custody rule getting revised, that potential more ETF filings are coming. It's been a flurry of information, which has been great for the space. On Friday last week, there was the crypto ball as part of the inauguration ceremonies. And then this weekend, there was quite a bit of a meme coin frenzy, which we're going to discuss here. So we will jump right in. First up, I'm actually going to talk about Polygon. So if you're not familiar with Polygon, this is a layer 2 protocol on Ethereum. They've been around for quite a while. This last week, they actually made a pretty big announcement. They announced they're partnering with Reliance Jio, which is basically one of the largest Indian conglomerates. I call them a conglomerate because they actually have their finger in like really anything in that market, electronics, communications. And so it's kind of hard to really pin down one thing that they do, but it is a very large company in one of the largest and fastest growing markets. So part of the partnership is Jio is going to use Polygon for part of what they're calling their Web3 rollout capabilities. So they're basically trying to add Web3 functionality to the existing apps that they have, and they're going to be doing that using Polygon. So Jio has over 450 million customers, and like I mentioned, serves India, this really fast-growing market. And so we'll see, kind of what this brings for Polygon. Polygon has definitely struggled recently, though, to keep pace with the market. The growing number of L2 projects has really increased competition in that area. And as a result, its TVL's basically been flat the past year. So even with this announcement, Polygon is down 7.2% for the week. Okay, next up, I'm going to talk about Tron. I know maybe for those of you who are more crypto native, not as fun a project, but last week, Layer 1 protocol Tron announced that they're going to be relaunching their USDD stablecoin with 20% APY. So Justin Sun, Tron's founder, claims that the yield is from Tron itself, as the DAO has excess cash. So if you're not familiar with the history of USDD, it actually was originally launched in 2022 to compete with Terra's now defunct stablecoin UST, which at the time offered 20% yields. USDD, when it launched, said that they were going to offer 30% yields. However, the yield was not really maintained as the market began to contract in Q2 of 2022. Basically, yield opportunities to provide that 30% yield kind of disappear. So now with this new stablecoin, they're basically saying, okay, well, we're comfortable just paying 20% out of our own pocket in order to grow our stablecoin. Keep in mind, they enter a very crowded stablecoin market. So we'll have to see if they can succeed there. Tron also was in the spotlight this week after World Liberty Financial, which is the Trump crypto project, purchased TRX tokens for its own balance sheet. Keep in mind, Justin Sun / Tron also invested in World Liberty Financial. So a little back scratching here. But Tron is up 8.6% for the week. All right, next up is MORPHO. So MORPHO is a little bit of a newer project. Last week, though, Coinbase announced the launch of Bitcoin-backed loans on Base, their Layer 2 network. So these Bitcoin-backed loans are actually backed by CBBTC, which is Coinbase's wrapped version of Bitcoin. And that the reason you have to have a wrapped representation of Bitcoin on places like Base, Ethereum, is that Bitcoin isn't really compatible with EVM chains in terms of transferring them. And so basically, first it was wrapped Bitcoin was the first created asset that was essentially like a wrapped basically like an IOU type of version that was supported by BitGo. Recently, that I think I've talked about that, but they haven't been doing so well since they handed off ownership of wrapped BTC to a few different entities. And so Coinbase came out and said, we're going to launch our own Bitcoin-backed wrapper. Wrapped wrapper for Bitcoin. And that has gotten them a lot of success. So The DeFi protocol MORPHO, they've been primarily like successful on Ethereum. They recently launched on Base. They're going to be the backend facilitator for these loans on the Base blockchain, which is kind of an unusual choice because Base already has its own native lend borrow protocol, Moonwell, and the largest lending protocol, Aave, is actually already live on Base. So this will be pretty interesting to see. MORPHO is a much more modular design than other lend borrow protocols. They allow users to kind of set their own risk parameters and set their own vaults versus you kind of come to Aave as a customer and they kind of just offer you the rates that they have. So that might be part of the reason for that. MORPHO has definitely been capturing a lot more market share in the lend borrow space as of late. And so this is just another, this is just another time when they're doing pretty well compared to Aave winning out business. So TVL has seen a pretty good bump of 28% this week on the Base chain. They also, the real success of the MORPHO token, though, is that moved up a ton last week. It is only up, however, 9.2% for the week so far. Okay, last up, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Trump token, which I'm sure you've heard about. It's been on the news. It's been in all the headlines, crypto-wise, but we'll talk about it here just so everyone has a little scoop on what's going on. So if you didn't see, the big news the last few days is that the newly launched Trump meme coin. So the token was released super late Friday night during that crypto wall that I mentioned, actually. And at first, a lot of people weren't actually sure if it was backed by Trump. There was a tweet from Trump's Twitter account that went with it, but some people were like, well, was this a scam? Like, did somebody hack his account, launch this coin? I mean, things like this have happened in the past, so it's right to question it. But it turned out to be legitimate. So once it was confirmed legitimate, the token was pretty quick to rise. It at one point was reached a $75 billion valuation. Now sits at $39 billion. The token itself is at its core, it's just a meme coin. It has no value. So that just kind of means that it is a cultural representation of Trump on chain, I guess, as you could say. But it kind of sits in that camp of Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Dog with Hat, Pepe, all very popular meme coins. So once confirmed, the token itself, like I said, it's at this meme coin at its core. 20% of the token is freely trading today. The other 80% is owned by the Trump family and is locked for the next 3 years. The token was notably launched on Solana, which is great because it increased a lot of usage on the Solana blockchain this weekend, and the Sol token actually rose 20% just over the few days from when the token was launched as a direct result. So the new meme coin, by some estimates, has brought in around 400 new users to crypto. And this is just based on some of the products such as Moonshot, which allows direct buys of crypto using credit cards and kind of like a quick on-ramp to crypto. We don't really know what the numbers are from players like Coinbase, Crypto.com, Binance, etc. But this could potentially be a new stage of user growth in the ecosystem. Anyway, the Trump token, it's up 507% for the week. We'll see where that goes next week. All right, guys, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear what's driving token prices.